Cool. Thank you. And last question, and you're probably not going to like it. I was on the small group with the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and Councillor Watson. The first offer from government was about 20% what it is in the end. It was so complex and so hard around this table. And you were at the time the only councillor to vote against any funding to go to buyouts or this work because you said potentially we shouldn't be doing it. Do you understand now how difficult that is and why we needed to do that?
I'd have to go back and do my homework on why I did it, and I'm sure you're correct. I'm sure you've looked it up. I'm sure you've snuck that in to be able to make a play. But I have never been against these people being helped by. That's what the council organisation is for. It's collective funding for everybody. So I will answer you in public if you need. I will go away and do my homework, find out exactly what I said in the context of what it was said, and come back to you. Thanks.
As promised, I am responding publicly to the claim by Councillor Richard Hill. He stated that I was the only councillor to vote against funding for buyouts and that I had said potentially we shouldn't be doing it. Councillor Hill is referring to the confidential Recovery Coordination Office update on the cost-sharing negotiations with Treasury, a very confidential meeting which took place on the afternoon of July the 27th, 2023. I include here the resolution from that meeting and the supporting information which has only recently had the confidential embargo lifted. There is no video for this meeting. I did indeed vote against this resolution and requested my dissenting vote be recorded. But in no way was that because I disagreed with the underlying principle of what funding was being sought for. The meeting's purpose was for councillors to agree and approve the negotiating principles that the council's lead negotiator, the Mayor, and the council's negotiating team were to work within when negotiating the funding split between the Crown and Council for storm recovery costs with Treasury. The day before this meeting, the government publicly notified that it was proposing a 50-50 split, putting pressure on the council to accept. Councillors were discussing whether to accept the government's offer or negotiate for more. Mayor Wayne Brown explained he was prepared to negotiate for Treasury to undertake a bigger portion of the costs, but the Mayor concluded he would be led by the majority councillor decision. My personal view was Mayor Wayne Brown is one of the toughest negotiators to have sat in the mayoralty seat in the last decade, and we should allow him the opportunity to negotiate for more funding. I noted that Council's original estimate for storm damage cost was potentially $4 billion over 10 years, and negotiations were already capped at half that value. Look at page 4, paragraph 10. Councillors resolved to constrain the Mayor's negotiations to accepting the 50-50 split with some add-ons. I was not prepared to inhibit the Mayor in this manner. Experience also told me the decision of this confidential meeting would be leaked in a matter of hours, so I considered it would be of benefit to negotiations for this acceptance of the situation not to be unanimous. Secondly, there were clauses within the resolution that I disagreed with, B2 in particular. Auckland Council has no legal obligation or general liability in relation to the impact of the weather events. I don't agree with that. On reflection of my decision on the day, I don't regret my vote, especially in the light of the circumstances we now face. Trying to find ways to negotiate with government for desperately needed extra funding, negotiations we could have had 20 months ago. I suggest that Councillor Hill should reflect on his vote on that day. I am satisfied with mine.